Hello. Right, I appreciate I've not made a video in a long while. A lot's been going on. I've not really been in a place to make videos. I did try at one point, but I was just too written off. So basically, well, came down with a really bad cold, proper man flu. I'm only just really recovering from it. I've still got a bit of a chesty cough. And my chest still hurts a little bit from coughing, sneezing, stuff like that. I thought it was just a normal cold, but for a couple of days I was properly written off. I was in bed, aching, shivering, just in a really shit way. Which is exactly the time that, you know, your loving partner would look after you. You know, bring you stuff and just pamper you and stuff like that. So obviously that's the first time I think I've been properly ill since Jenny died. And yeah, felt pretty crap, pretty alone, pretty uncared for, because I'll be honest with you, the kids not that interested. You know, I kind of get them out the hobble my way downstairs and make them breakfast and do the packed lunch and then get them out the door, and not even a flicker of recognition that I was out having a bit of a time. And equally, they'd come home from school, be tucked up in bed, and they wouldn't even pop their head around the door. And I think it really pissed me off. And it kind of came to a head, and I sat them all down and I was like, right, we can't continue like this. Like, you treat me like a slave, and it's got to change. So I kind of laid down the law a little bit and give them all. I think it's one of those that, you know, they're trying to deal with grief and they put their emotions into themselves, which makes it look on the outside that they're being quite selfish. I'm not making excuses for them. I think this is genuinely what happens. And they just kind of turn in and they will just let everybody do everything for them, because it takes all the capacity to, you know, kind of deal with what they're going through, and I understand that. Not much help to me. But equally, I'm pretty sure that if I just carried on like that, it would just get worse. That they would just happily let me carry on, and what started out as a juncture in grief, I think would quickly turn out to be a character personality where they just become unbelievably selfish. So, you know, I kind of sat them down and I was like, right, you know, I'm not placing blame here. I just want to reset. I want to reset on the understanding that, you know, I cannot do everything. You've got to help me here. So, with that in mind, I kind of divvied up a bit of work. So, Isabel's now in charge of washing. I'll put the washer on. Can't trust her to use the washing machine, but she can at least separate the clothes and put them in piles and ready for me to, you know, put them in the washer. And then her job is, when they've finished, to, you know, put them out on the clothes horse or put them in the dryer or whatever. Thomas said, right, his job is like, you know, hoovering, dusting, all that kind of stuff, and Charlotte is basically doing the dishwasher. You know, of all of them, there's only Charlotte who really kind of even intimated at giving a shit. Which is ironic that, you know, the youngest has the most emotional intelligence. But of course, you know, that part of them is still kind of still growing. You know, that part of the prefrontal cortex where kids learn, you know, consequence and all that kind of stuff, and emotional intelligence is still developing up to the age of about, you know, 18. Still trying to figure the world out. So I have to kind of remember that and, you know, not get too sad about it. But it's pretty hard when you're feeling like shit. So anyway, we had this bit of a reset. I had grumpy kids for a few days. But it seems to have kind of settled down now. I went through a really shit patch, I'll be honest with you, where nobody was talking to each other. Everybody was pretty miserable. Crap. And on top of this, I had the whole house thing where the house wasn't moving along. So can't remember what I said last time I talked to you, but basically I read the Riot Act and said, right, I'm you know, just fucking had enough, really. Expecting it all to kind of fall apart. Anyway, it didn't. Everybody listened to the Riot Act, kind of went, oh, okay then. So, firstly, my people I'm buying off, who have been unbelievably slow, not really showed any enthusiasm for doing anything, basically turned around and said, right, okay, well, we're going to start looking at rental properties to move into a rental property. I was like, oh, that's a positive sign. So then I went back to my solicitors and said, right, well, I want a deadline by the end of February. Anyway, about 2 days later, I got a phone call from my solicitor up in Scotland saying that they'd been contacted by their solicitor saying that they have put in an offer and had an offer accepted on a property, and that they're still happy to move into rental if it doesn't come through by the end of February, to basically complete this sale. At the same time, people who are buying mine have signed the contract, so they're ready to go. So it went from basically nothing to people saying, right, well, you know, you're in the middle of the chain. Have you got a completion date that you're looking at? So anyway, long story short, I basically said, right, I want a completion date of the 6th of March, because I could have gone earlier, really. Everybody's, you know, all the guns are cocked, ready to go now. Everybody's ready to go. But I've done nothing. I've got no removals. I've got no packing done. There's a lot of like practical logistics to get through now. And I thought, yeah, well, while I could probably turn this around within 2 weeks, you know, there's no way I'm going to get the practical side done. So I've set a date now for the 6th of March. So after months and months and months, you know, touch a big fucking wooden tree, I'm gonna move. Crazy, isn't it? And all of a sudden, the people I'm buying off have turned into really accommodating. They're like, well, can we have your email so we can discuss if you want any furniture because we're downsizing? Right, brilliant. So, yeah, shit couple of weeks, but a good ending. But of course, anything with grief, nothing straightforward, isn't it? So, I went furniture shopping yesterday. Isabel's a little bit pissed off at me at the moment, but so she went out with a friend. Anyway, I took Thomas and Charlotte to. I just said, right, come on, we'll go to a retail park and do a bit of. I was hoping to get them some furniture for the bedroom, you know, like beds and stuff like that, because they've all got single beds and I want them to have double beds. And so I'm like, right, come on, we'll go and do a bit of furniture shopping. Anyway, there was nothing for that. But as we were looking around, like, I was thinking, well, I want new bedroom furniture. I want basically a fresh start where I'm kind of getting rid of the old stuff that, you know, has memories attached to it, and getting new stuff in. So anyway, went to all these various different furniture places, you know, Oak Furniture Land and all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of nice stuff in there. But I realised one thing as I was doing all of this, and, you know, went into like a mattress, you know, Dreams, get a new mattress, all that kind of stuff, and I realised one important point. And that's that I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. Absolutely no idea. Because I've never needed, because you know, it's everything we ever chose. I've said this to you before. Everything we ever chose. I say we, but it was Jenny she's the one with the style. She's the one with the, you know, the flair, the knows what looks nice. I'm the person with a credit card going, yeah, okay. So I stood there looking at all this furniture and I was like, I don't have any taste, I don't have any style, I don't know what I want. I have no idea. You know, I looked at one and I was like, well, this looks alright. And I, like, honestly, I felt just this massive urge to turn around and go, Jem, what do you think? This is going to be really difficult because I've got so many things to buy and I have not the first fucking clue what I'm doing, and it worries me. Yeah, so that's all good fun, isn't it? So yeah, I've realised that I have no style. I can dress myself, but that's kind of where it stops. You know, buying furniture, choosing, you know, what it's going to look like, not a fucking clue. So yeah, kind of screwed. So there you go. Good news. Oh shit. You know, good news on one front, but always, like anything with this, always comes with a sting in the tail. I thought I'd quite look forward to that, but one sec. Come on.
Hello there.
Hi there.
Hi.
Come on. Yeah, I thought when I move to a new house, one of the things I'd look forward to is, right, okay, let's just buy a load of new furniture. Let's just, you know, go and get. But everything that I look at, like my brain is pre-wired now. It's kind of got, would Jenny like that? Nothing's ever simple in this life. So this is the utter chaos that I'm now finding myself in. Right, I'm now walking. Lacey, come here. I'm now walking down a path with loads of other people, so I'm going to get off. So I can. Come on, either way. There's dogs coming and everything. Lacey! Fucking hell. Right. I'm going to get this walk done and then make another video soon. Tell you the latest saga. See you later.